An independent investigation into Russian state-sponsored doping in sport says more than 1,000 athletes benefited from an institutional conspiracy to conceal positive tests. The second part of the report, commissioned for the World Anti-Doping Agency, claims several championships and some 30 sports were affected. The author, a Canadian lawyer, said the Russian team corrupted the London Olympics.
The evidence does not depend on verbal testimony from anyone to draw a conclusion. Rather, it tests the physical evidence, and a conclusion is drawn from the results. The results of the forensic and laboratory analysis initiated by the IP established that the conspiracy was perpetrated from at least 2011 to 2015.
The author says there's evidence that more than 500 positive tests were reported as negative, including from top-level athletes. A Moscow laboratory was involved in a urine swapping system used at the Sochi Winter Olympics, the report says. There was proof of bottle tampering and some athletes with impossible test results.
We are now able not only to confirm the findings of the first report, but also to put them into sharper and clearer focus. We are increasing the number of athletes involved, as well as the scope of the conspiracy and cover-up. A cover-up that dates back to at least 2011 and continued after the Sochi Winter Olympic Games. Over 1,000 Russian athletes competing in summer, winter, and Paralympic sport can be identified as being involved in or benefiting from manipulation to conceal positive doping tests. The Russian Olympic team corrupted the London Games on an unprecedented scale, the extent of which will probably never be fully established. It is impossible to know how deep and how far back the conspiracy goes. For years, international sports competitions have unknowingly been hijacked by the Russians. Coaches and athletes have been playing on an uneven field. Sports fans and spectators have been deceived. It's time that stops. Yes, stops.
When I first learned about all of this, I thought it was fanciful and it couldn't possibly be true. So I was expecting to conclude that it wasn't true. So I had a complete 360-degree reversal and realized it was true, and a lot more was true than was ever published before.
Do you have any doubt as to the origins of this? Where did this come from? How high up a level did it come from?
We know for sure it went to the Deputy Minister of Sport level, and beyond that we have no evidence to indicate that it went any further. At least the minister must have known in broad stroke terms what was going on.
So there was some disappointment as to the stance of the IOC after your first report. What would be your message now to the International Olympic Committee?
Well, I tried to answer that in what I said. We do have evidence. We've now put it in the public domain. Look at it and determine what you should do. Maybe you didn't get it right the first time.
Should we be trusting what we see from Russian athletes on the international sporting stage today, do you think?
That's a very difficult question to answer. There are certainly Russian competitors who are not cheating. There's no question about that. And it's obvious that there are a large number who are. Exactly which ones are in the international scene and whether they're clean or dirty, it's very hard to tell. All you can do, I think, is pursue the information you have and then punish those that deserve to be punished.